So I have these drawers here. Simple stacking drawers, modular, made by Sterilite. They come in assemblies with 3 compartments and 3 drawers. And my unit is 2 of these stacked on top of each other, giving me 6 drawers. And that works pretty good. And then a need came up for half of it to be employed elsewhere in the house, leaving me with 3 drawers, but no top. And I thought to myself, well, I could probably get another lid eventually. I was only able to find a replacement lid on eBay for a smaller unit for $20. Replacement cost of the entire unit. And these are made in a way that makes them very efficient on materials, we'll just say. And with that, they can't hold very much weight, some, but the top usually bows down, which causes interference with the drawer being able to close. After pondering what to do for a little while, I took some measurements, then I went into CAD and drew up some brackets. These would allow me to use anything I wanted as a top. First, I made a test piece to make sure all my dimensions worked out. The parts are mirror images left to right. Not quite as much front to back though, so there are 4 unique pieces, which is fine. I threw on some labels to avoid mixing them up later on. Now I can get to the first real steps of this, printing out the rest of the parts and taking measurements to see how big of a top I wanted on this, since there's no limit anymore. I decided to go with some 3/4 inch birch plywood I had left over from another project. Now I'm just coming up with something. I found a washer, so I'm going around it and just making straight edges that are tangent, coming up with some radiuses. I'll cut this out roughly and then finish up the shape here. A lot of dust. It has a port on the back of it to hook up the chop vac, but whenever I do, it sucks up the sanding belt against the vacuum port. Makes a loud screaming noise. Now to mark where the connectors are going to go, I ended up just putting 1 screw on each of these so it can align itself if they get put on a little crooked. Yep, this is some mighty fine wood here. And what a beautiful day it ended up being that day. I used a 3/8 round over bit on the router for the top and then switched it to 1/8 of an inch for the bottom just to break the edge. I did the staining out in direct sunlight to give it a better chance of curing faster. This worked, but it was a little too close. It was kind of tacking up as soon as I got the brush off of it, so I had to work quick to keep up with it so it wouldn't leave brush strokes everywhere. During this, it was getting a little bit wobbly, so I went to move one of the supports on the bottom and forgot there's a bunch of wet finish there, so that wasn't very good. And there's Clyde doing his job scaring off the birds so they don't land on the wet finish. With that all done, now I can go and drill the holes that I center punched earlier. Install the brackets, and they're able to pivot a little bit, which made clicking them into place pretty easy. I will have these models available for download, links in the description. And then the unthinkable happened. One of my drawers got stolen. So not to let a good thing go to waste, printed out another set of the brackets. These are gonna get the Australian treatment and get used upside down as feet to keep the ends of the supports from digging into the carpet. And it's just going to be like a little table with some legs. I had to go and make some pins that go into these holes. I think these are meant for caster wheels to go in, of all things. And they lock together so they don't slide off each other. And there you go. There's room for clothes and then some shoes underneath it or something. Not bad. But I wasn't done yet. During some garage meandering, I came across a set of 6 medium drawers matching another 2 I have overcrowded in my work area. Now I just had to gather a few key dimensions, go back into CAD and model the new flanges. I put that in the slicer and got it all ready, and then just printed one to test the sizes. That checked out fine, so I could print the rest of them. This was a good time to get the drawers all cleaned up and start to work on the wood top. I'm thinking I can take the drawers and make this into a desk that has room for a chair and drawers on either side and a nice wide top. And I'm going to be putting a little cutout in the middle of it like I've seen on some desks, so that way you can sit into it a little bit closer. It's a little bit more ergonomic. So from the CAD drawing, I was able to make a printable drawing that had all the key dimensions on it that I could take out into the shop and use as a template. I decided to go with some 3/4 inch birch plywood I had left over from another. Nice chatoyancy here. Here you can see me making up my own interpretation of where the middle of the circle should be. I actually had the dimension on the print and ignored it or something. So I chased my tail for a little bit trying to figure out why the circles don't end up in the right spot. And I did get it in the middle of something. I got it in the middle of the radius, but from the two endpoints, not from the theoretical endpoints of it being the whole thing from the entire drawer. I went from the triangle method to the square method for centering the big radius. Then I could mark both X and Y and fix that in position to have my pivot point for my string. And it worked first time. It was really something. This belt was really dull, and I left a lot of material on there to try to take off with the sander, so trimmed up the extra bits of that and then changed the belt to a fresh 80 grit. And the brush I was using didn't quite fit in the stain jug, so I just poured it on the wood. And the first side went really good, so I tried to do it on the second side and got a little overzealous and ended up having to squeegee it back into the can. I will have these models available for download. Links in the I found this chair in the garage as well to go along with it pretty nicely. And now it's time to try this out. I left two of the drawers off to make it a little bit shorter. I'm going to give this to my niece after all. But the width was very comfortable. And if it had more drawers, it would be a very suitable desk for a larger person, an adult. This is the finished product, all ready for delivery. Let's see how it goes. Every drawer filled, something in it. From the moment I brought it over, she was right at home at it. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and let me know. And if you're not, hit the subscribe button and you stay classy.